Hello, Kubrick Lover 1972, also known as Brian, here with another review for you on this 31 days of Halloween horror movies to watch each single day. Um, anyways, as I said, some filmmakers asked me to review a movie for them, um, and it's called Camp 3 in 2D. It's been shown at some film festivals. I'm not sure if it won any awards. I didn't really look at that too closely or at all, really. But but anyways, yeah. So and I I I'm one of the screeners for a film festival that for the director of a film festival, and he has a few film festivals that he runs, and he runs films by people like, well, not me and some other people to get to gauge our reactions on what we think and whether or not it's a suitable film to show at the festival. Not suitable. I don't know if suitable in the terms of like gross, or maybe I don't know. Just fits the festival, or you can work with other films, or somehow find a niche or something, I guess you could say. So, anyways, that's enough of that. So, I watched this film called Camp 3 in 2D, and I guess it's based partially on Friday the 13th movies. And I guess the third Friday the 13th was a 3D film, if I'm getting this correctly. I haven't seen Friday the 13th movies since the late 80s, I believe. I did see Jason Takes Manhattan a few years ago at the Jacob Burns Film Center Halloween Marathon in Pleasantville, New York. There's the host of the program. He does a like a Riff Tracks presentation of films that he regards as bad, I guess. And he has a few friends of his that host this podcast called We Hate Movies. And he has his friends from We Hate Movies. They do this Riff Tracks kind of commentary while the film is showing in the theater, and they make like jokes and sarcastic barbs or whatever about the film as it's going, and the audience laughs along, So I did watch Jason Takes Manhattan, but basically that film, I think, takes place mostly in Manhattan, or a set that's supposed to look like Manhattan. So this film, I guess it's supposed to be humorous. The humor for me was a little crude, and I just couldn't get into the humor. Didn't really make me laugh. In fact, some of it I found kind of repulsive. Like one of the camp counselor, the uncle, gets some excrement in his mouth. That was kind of turned me off, and like one of the campers gets like Charleston Chew all over her face, and I found that kind of gross. That still doesn't mean it can't be a good film. I mean, like Salò was a great film in my opinion, even though they eat excrement in the movie. I don't know if I can watch it right away again. I don't know when I'll ever watch it again, but I think it's a masterpiece, Salò. But this film, I can't quite recommend it. I see some. Well, I definitely saw a reference to Return of the Jedi with the speeder bikes going through the forest, but I didn't. There was no setup as to why those speeder bikes were in the forest to begin with, so it begged the question as to why the relevance to the rest of the movie, why it was there. Also, there was this. I don't know why the uncle got on this truck And I think it's a reference to Raiders of the Lost Ark with the um, Jason kind of character. I think it's yeah, he's hanging on the side of the truck, and I think that's a reference to when the Nazis have in Raiders of the Lost Ark had that the Ark on the back of a truck, and Indiana Jones is driving the truck at the front of the truck, and a Nazi comes on the side and shoots a gun at him in the shoulder, and then Indy kicks him off of the truck with the not with the car door coming off, with the garage or the truck door coming off, and the Nazi falling to the floor, the ground, as the truck goes on. Yeah, I just didn't get the humor. What else? I think um, I don't have to care about the characters. That's not the thing. But the characters have to be interesting. Um, and I hate bringing films that, are quite like Clockwork Orange. Alex is not a likable person, but he's an interesting person. And of course, my name Kubrick lover, so I love Kubrick, of course. But like if you look at Doctor Strangelove, the character of Jack Ripper, played by Sterling Hayden, he's not a likable guy. He's crazy. He just started a nuclear war, but he's very interesting, So these characters are just, I don't feel much sympathy for them. Well, not just sympathy. It doesn't have to be sympathy. They have to be interesting. And I don't know. They just didn't get me. What else can I say about this movie? I'm trying to give it a fair review from my standpoint. Well, at the start of the film, um, if I can, one of the camp counselors, I think, beheads the villain of one of the villains, or the villain of of the the rest of the story, and I think she's traumatized. I don't know. I mean, um, the rest of the story, you have these, the kill count, which is, I don't know. It just didn't seem very original to me. Just seemed, didn't it could imitate Friday the 13th, but it has to have its own unique way of going about doing it. Like Brian De Palma does excellent films. A lot of his films are excellent, and he does homages to other films, to other directors, to other movies, but he does it well, And in this particular film, you've got Return of the Jedi, and it just was tacked on and seemed very forced. I mean, like there was a scene at the end where this this boat is going up into the sky and then it goes down. That looked kind of impressive, those shots, but I didn't understand how it related to the story and why it was going up in the air. So that there's a lot of logical things that didn't make any sense. They weren't logical. They weren't logical. They didn't make a lot of sense, so they weren't logical. I'm sorry, I didn't make that sound correct on that. And I didn't know why. There's a lot of questions that were left unanswered. Like, why is one of the main characters dressed up in a Santa suit at the end? I thought the acting was a little overdone at times. I don't know why the uncle is cruel. I don't know why his nephew acts very very well, how can I put it? Why he acts very soft? Why he acts very innocent, or very weakly against his uncle, like not standing up to him. I just didn't get it. Yeah, I mean, like, there's films, horror films. Um, some of the thing with some of the time with horror films, they're into the kills, and then they're into, you know, how people are killed and the gore and everything. But you really had to construct a good story, good acting, interesting characters, and with that, you can make a film much more horrifying to people, like with Romero's Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead or Alien or Aliens, or Terminator. We care about these characters, so when dangerous things come up, we're also scared as well. But in this particular film, it becomes tiring after a while. All these kills and all this humor, it starts treading really bad. So, like, about halfway through the film, I just wanted it to end. I'm very sorry that I feel this way. I apologize to the filmmakers that made this movie. But this is my opinion. It's not a fact or anything like that. It's just an opinion. Um, it might be able to entertain an audience, but I just don't see it as a great. Well, it doesn't have to be a great movie. I just don't see it as a good movie even. So out of 5 stars, I'm going to rate this film probably 2 stars. So 2.5 would be marginal thumbs up. I'm going to rate it 2 stars because out of 5 because there are some scenes in it that just didn't make any sense why they were there, like the Return of the Jedi reference, um, gross out humor that seemed to have no point, the motivations of the characters, why the boat in the lake goes up into the air and then comes down at the end. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, like those Return of the Jedi shots, those the boat going up in the air and then down again at the end of the film are impressive, but they just don't have any relevance to the story to me. So that's my review. This is not the final word, but this is my take. And so, anyways, that does it for today. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to do Serpent and the Rainbow. I was going to watch. I probably will watch Hostel 2 at some point. I was going to take a break on the torture porn body, gory thing, gory kind of films for a while, and focus on films that are more like psychological or whatever. And Serpent and the Rainbow might be in that vein of types of movies that are horror movies. I think I have Eyes Without. Yeah, I have Eyes Without a Face by Georges Franju. I think that's a horror movie. I have Slither. I think it's called Slither. I have Pigs, which I picked up at a horror film fest. I think it's a Vinegar Syndrome. I think it's a Vinegar Syndrome DVD or a Blu-ray. It was a Blu-ray, I believe. Yeah. So Camp 3 in 2D, I give it 2.5 stars out of 5. So I mean 2 stars out of 5. So I hope I gave enough of a detailed or at least general overview of the film. It's about the serial killer and the characters that come from this mental hospital. I do think you can make fun of characters from like a mental hospital or are physically or mentally retarded or whatever, but you gotta have an angle on it. And I just thought it was kind of crude. Maybe I should have thought a little more before I hit record on here, before my review. But I'm going to give it 2 stars out of 5. So, and I'm not the final voice on this. Look up on. I think his film is on IMDb. I don't know if there's a Rotten Tomatoes rating of it, but you can look at critics and see what they have to say, like whether they like it or not. And then, come up with your own conclusions. So see you tomorrow. If I'm not here tomorrow, I'll be the next day. I'll like double up on another two horror films or something. So I'll be here, probably tomorrow again. And thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Watch some scary movies.